very good morning to you and welcome back. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's the Smooth Breakfast Show and it's time for Freshly Pressed 981. It's our in-depth newspaper analysis show where we bring our analysts here in the studio to help us make sense of the headline stories and just give us a very in-depth look at the stories today. Joining me live in the studio, two analysts today. I have with me Wade. Wade, good morning to you.
Good morning, Judith. Good morning, Lagos.
All right,
Great to be in the studio this morning.
Seems to be suffering from your headphone. Can you hear it now? All right. I also have Justin join me live in studio. Justin, good morning to you.
Good morning, world. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, Justin. You can join the conversation as always. Send us a WhatsApp message to 0809 Again, 0809 We're streaming live on YouTube. Mind the chaos in the background there. If you can see us at Smooth 981. That's where we are on YouTube. Smooth 981. That's Smooth FM Lagos on YouTube. Let's get started, shall we? As we get into today's stories making the round, we'll take this one from the Punch newspaper. I'm coming to you, Justin, for this one. Nigeria recorded highest malaria deaths globally in 2020, and that's from WHO. The World Health Organization on Monday said the world was on the verge of a potential malaria crisis. This is as the global health body revealed in a report it released that Nigeria contributed to the largest malaria deaths in 2020 in the African region and globally. It also stated that the coronavirus pandemic related disruptions caused tens of thousands more deaths. Justin.
Yeah, it's the stats are quite jarring, and of course, when you consider that we live in the particular location where we are being told that we are the highest contributor to this stats, it begins to beg for some answers, right? Is it that we paid too much attention to COVID and then people were stuck at home, couldn't get treatment for malaria? Is it that we also have stats that are not, being captured fully, or I don't know what to make of this, except to say that more attention does need to be paid to healthcare, right? Particularly malaria. Malaria is something that is, the only good thing I know that malaria has done, this is dark humor to warn you all, is that the person who claimed to have discovered River Niger, the place where my ancestors have been since time immemorial, it's malaria that got that fellow. But malaria is a good one there. Well,
It's too early for that joke.
I did warn you, dark humor. There's some people that, just when we talk about Lord Lugan and things like that, but seriously now, more attention needs to be paid in this part of the world to malaria. It's an African problem. It's a West African problem, right? It's a Nigerian problem. When we're doing circa 30% of global malaria death statistics, that is shocking. And what needs to be done? We need to fund research. So this pulls my mind to the whole COVID scenario where this pandemic hit the world and we're out there with a begging bowl, right? Even as of today that we're having so many variants coming out, we're basically sitting down and begging the world, give us vaccine. You didn't give us vaccines. People did research. People were funded to do research to produce these vaccines. And guess what? It's a business venture for a lot of them, right? It's a whole industry. We need to fund malaria vaccine. Malaria is a viral disease, right? Why do we not have a malaria vaccine in 2021? Africa, nobody's.
There's a vaccine.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
yes, there is a malaria
there is
vaccine.
now a malaria vaccine that's
And
been
Nigeria is one of the countries that
on
is
the
going to get
list
the
together.
Who
Yes.
produced the vaccine?
World Health
World
Organization.
Health Organization.
Not a pharmaceutical company. Anyway, so let's make sure that that vaccine is distributed so that these numbers can go down and we don't end up looking ridiculous to the whole world all the time.
There's a message here from Ruth, and she's saying there's civil unrest in Amuwo, Dofin, Alakija, and Abuju. Precisely, the motorcycle riders are at the center of this unrest. If you're out there on the roads, please be very careful and be mindful. Make sure to wound up and just stay at around areas that are safe so that you don't get caught up in the unrest. Let's move on now. We're taking this one from Premium Times and coming to you, Uwade, for this one. Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SARAP, got caught to stop Buhari others from shutting down telecoms. The Sarap has filed a lawsuit asking the court for an order of perpetual injunction to restrain President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, from unlawfully shutting down telecommunication networks in any part of the country. Now, the suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/1323/2021 filed at the Federal High Court Abuja. Sarap is asking the court to determine whether the shutdown of the telecommunication networks in any part of Nigeria by the Buhari administration is unlawful and a violation of the rights of access to correspondence, freedom of expression, information, and the press. Wadi?
I think what Serap has been doing for a lot of us in Nigeria is great work. Why do I say that? A lot of people believe that you shouldn't go to court. Court is a waste of time. But I do think that one of the good things that this does is when the judgment is passed, you have some form of precedent that would help you and guide us as a country towards ensuring the rights of Nigerians and justice for all. For me, I do think that this is a great one that they're doing. Why? Because we've seen that despite the fact that they've shut down telecoms in Zamfara, in parts of Katsina, the issue of what's it called? Whether it's what do you call them, bandits or however you want to put them, has really not gone down as much as we expect. Rather, what has happened is it's taken a huge economic toll on those states, states that were already not generating enough internal revenue within the states are even getting worse because people can't do business. It takes, what should take you less than 10-15 minutes, you now have to go to areas where you can get network. Some people have to travel out of those states to even do the kind of business that they do. And this is sad. It's been on for over 3-4 months, or if not more. And this for me is why we need organizations like Sarah, who are willing to challenge some of those things and get some form of precedent, and the courts to actually interpret what the law is and what the law says. Sorry, not what the law is, what the law says. And that way we get some form of precedent so that tomorrow nobody's coming back and saying, oh, what you did was right or wrong. We're living in a democracy, not an autocracy. So freedom of speech is really something that needs to be checked. The court of law has to be able to explain to us if the government is violating the fundamental rights of Nigerians by putting some things in place, or some laws in place.
Let's move on to Guardian now. This we talked about these figures inside of Business Express, but Justin, I need you to take this one. Nigeria's trade deficit rises to 3 trillion naira. Nigeria's trade deficit has ballooned by over 61% quarter on quarter QOQ, as it rose from 1.87 trillion naira in the second quarter Q2 to 3.002 trillion naira in the last quarter Q3. Now, in the last quarter, the country imported goods valued at 8.15 trillion naira, while its total export was valued at 5.13 trillion naira, bringing the total trade to 13.28 trillion naira, as against 12.08 trillion recorded the preceding quarter. Now, the figures goes on and on, but these are contained in the Q3 foreign trade data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, yesterday. Seems to be a huge drop there when you look at the figures. But Justin?
Not necessarily if you zoom out and go back in time. So the report is giving us a snapshot and saying, oh, quarter on quarter, we've ballooned from 1.87 trillion to 3.9 trillion, right? But if you zoomed back to 2 quarters before, so the quarter on quarter before this one, you will realize that what has actually happened is we've gone back to status quo ante. So it's back to business as usual. So the news here is that there was a drop in Q2 from 3.09 trillion to 1.87 trillion. That's when Uncle Murphy shut down, a lot of avenues for outflows on the balance of trade side of things, or the FX side of things. Okay, so that depression was the anomaly. What has happened is we've gone back to, because you can suppress demand, you can, but if it's not going anywhere, you can do all these knee-jerk reactions, but it is what it is. So we've gone back to what it is that the economy does in Nigeria, which is consume, or what it is that we do in Nigeria, which is consume. Balance of trade simply talks about, for those who might not be, anyways, balance of trade simply talks about how much do you import versus how much do you export, how much do you produce and sell versus how much you eat. So if you look at it from your household perspective, how much revenue are you bringing in as a household, right? How much are you selling?
How
Whether
much
you're
are you
selling your
consuming?
time
How
as a
much are you
labor
buying
or
in?
whatever. Yeah, so you're earning 5 million naira, but you're consuming 8 million naira. So you have a 3 million naira Guinea trade deficit in your house. Now, the question is, please, people, how are we going to close deficits unless you're using a deficit to finance growth, not consumption? Then the only scenario in which a deficit makes sense is when you're leveraging deficit, like the US does very successfully. Raise a lot of debt, use it to finance capital growth and industrialization, and industrial growth rather, right? We are using deficits to finance consumption. We are borrowing money to pay salaries, right? Moving away from that, because that's a regular soundbite. Some interesting things come out in this report. Who are our top five? So all these 8 trillion, right, that we spend, where do we spend the money? We spend it in 5 countries mostly. Our top 5 import partners are India, Spain, France, Netherlands, Italy. They account for 47% of our oil exports, right? And oil accounts for about 70-80%
Which is
of
still
our
like the
export.
main contributor
Which
to
is,
this.
yeah. So out of 6 trillion or so, 4 point something is oil alone, right? So, and then when you look at it deeply, where are we trading in Africa? We are virtually not trading. No, only one African country comes into the top 10 trading partners for Nigeria. That's Ivory Coast. That's our next door neighbor. And we know what traverses right between us. So really, we need to take a hard look at
Ivory Coast is oil, because we refine some of our oil in Ivory Coast.
In Ivory Coast. Okay. So truly, we basically just sell oil, and that's all she wrote. But this is something that whoever and whatever the people who are going to be asking for votes in 2023, this should be a main talking point. It's a sound everybody just talks about. Oh, we need to diversify the economy. We need to diversify the economy. But nobody's actually doing anything. And trust me, agriculture is not going to take us there. Not subsistence agriculture, anyway. Right? For instance, sorry, I just need to add this. The tech sector, for instance, I'm wondering, as I was reading this report, I was wondering, does the value being produced by the tech sector that is being so heavily antagonized by this administration, is it being captured in these reports? Or are we offshoring that value as well?
We're going to rebase the economy very soon, like we did when we brought in entertainment, and then we became the biggest kind of
smart.
This message here is from you. This is Yinka. It's for you, Justin. It's from Yinka Bodi. He's asking. He said, "Wait. Which household is earning 5 million a month? Mainland or island?" He wants to know. Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper here. This is it's called I'm coming to you, Ade, for this one. Federal government refutes reports that ISWAP laundered 18 billion naira through Nigeria. The federal government has refuted parts of a report by the Intergovernmental Action Group on Money Laundering in West Africa. Now, that group was established by the Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS, to help prevent and control money laundering and terrorist financing in the region. Now, the report revealed that about 18 billion naira from the Islamic State West Africa province, ISWAP, flowed through the country's financial system to rich terror groups. But the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, disputed the report, describing it as untrue. Wadi?
Let me start with the statement from the NFIU. NFIU said the story is totally outdated and was based on a 2019 country evaluation report, which is literally stale and irrelevant. That's why you say it's not true. If it happened in 2019, what you should be telling us are these are the steps that we've put in place to ensure that these things are no
Doesn't
longer
happen.
flowing. And even if it's flowing, the amount has reduced drastically. But it goes on to say that it's knowledge, it is to the knowledge of the International Committee and Populace and former media organization that several arrests were made through the going operation service wide approved. But it just goes to show how agencies react, and like Justin said, knee-jerk reactions to everything. The first thing you need to do is, for me, and as an agency that wants to show that you've done so much, is to say, oh yes, it happened in 2019. These are the things that we've done. The flow has gone down. It's dropped from 18 billion to 2 billion, where although they say they are providing information to their partners and all, to which partners, how. And this is a country that we're still, they gave us some list of those who are financing terrorism, and nobody has been arrested, nobody has been brought to court, nobody has been investigated. So when we come out and make statements like this, it just beats me that
far-reaching efforts are being executed by
what
the
what are the
government
far-reaching
to stem the bad
efforts?
practices. Have some faith, brother.
I have faith in this country, and I believe in this country. So, but when you come out with a statement like this and tell me that it was a 2019 report, so this is 2021. Tell me what you've done. Tell me how you've improved on these things, and you have shut down these avenues. Banditry in Nigeria alone, which for me is terrorism, is the amount of money going through there. We don't even need to send it outside Nigeria to ISWAP, really.
This message is from Tayo from Ajay. Goes, which report can this government reject? NFI or NFIU? Hello. This is Fabian from Ekpe. Goes, good morning, Judith and everyone. I salute Sarah for continuing to speak out for the voiceless. The government's response to COVID as well as the Boko Haram attacks shows we need more groups to speak out and call the government to order. And that's messages there. You can send your messages coming on to 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. Let's move on to darkness, as I like to describe this story. This is from Guardian newspaper. 5 states FCT in darkness as labor strikes. The Federal Capital Territory FCT, Nasarawa, Kogi, parts of Edo, Niger, and Kaduna State have been thrown into darkness following the industrial action embarked by the electricity workers. Now, the areas are mainly under the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, PLC, where impact of account skewing and a leadership crisis allegedly impinged on workers' welfare and optimal operations. Now, while the office was practically deserted in the early hours of yesterday, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, said the bulk power for the distribution company, TISCO, could not be delivered as energy evacuation from injection substations across the franchise area has been disrupted. Justin.
Let me put this in context, because we suffer boiled frog syndrome a lot around these parts, where because we've normalized the absurd so much, we can talk about it as if it's not. 2021 power generation, that's what we're discussing. Man was on the moon before I was. I don't know if it's before I was born.
Yes, before you were born. Literally before you were born.
People were on the moon. We have space stations where people live in orbit. We are discussing power generation and distribution in 2021.
Transmission too. Because
transmission as well. Transmission is an issue here. They're trying to evacuate this power.
And it's just that anyhowness. We did a privatization exercise. We unbundled good old faithful NEPA. This was better than the NEPA. And we sold NEPA to private people who clearly cannot fund the thing. The government is still supporting that industry by spending money. Let me not use the word subsidy because I'm controversial. We're still spending money as a country on a privatized sector. We still do not have power. In my neighborhood, 50K will not last you 1 week. This is a house where kids are in boarding school, they are not at home. 50K goes in 1 week. So they've jacked up tariffs.
Buy energy saving equipment.
Or inverter, like, I mean.
Your inverter also consumes energy when it's charging. So they've jacked up tariffs. Power is still not solved. And I remember Baba Fash telling us
6 months.
6 months.
6 years after.
Will solve power.
And by Baba Fash, I mean Fashola.
If you put Gida, now you sabi. He told us 6 months. This is 6 years and counting. People in the private sector have taken the Commonwealth, pocketed it, and milking the populace. The problem has not been solved, just like Ajokuta.
I have messages here. This is Dele Owolowo, and it goes, "Good morning, Judith and everyone. Oil accounts for over 80% of our exports, which means the rest of Nigeria produces 20% for exports. This makes our gross national productivity as a nation in infinitesimal. Until we solve the modern agricultural and industrial value chains, this lopsided balance of trade will continue." This is, you didn't leave your name though. I think you're a first time texter, so I'm going to take your message. She goes, "Good morning, Smooth FM." Oh, that's Mary from Magodo there. "Good morning, Smooth FM. Nigeria needs to diversify her economy to address the balance of trade issues. A country cannot continue to be consuming economy to continue to be a consuming economy and expect to have the results of a producing one. That would be tumultuous to madness. Sadly, it is going to remain this way for a long time. Do you know what it makes to export anything out of this economy? It requires a huge stamina, tears, blood, and more. When your FX is inflowed back into the economy, the CBN carries a big torch, spoon, knife, and all sorts of utensils to dissect it and eat from there. This happens under the pretense of their monitoring and supervision duties. We urgently need to create an enabling environment for non-oil exports."
18 billion was used to fund the ISWAP. Maybe this is where the monies are coming from. On the lighter side, don't mind me.
Let's move on now. I'm going to come to you, Wadi, for this one. We can't enforce compulsory vaccination order in the National Assembly. This is management of the National Assembly from Punch newspaper. Now, the management of the National Assembly has said that the federal government's order that all civil servants must be vaccinated before accessing their offices and the offices cannot be implemented at the legislative complex. Now, this is just as safety protocols have been relaxed at the National Assembly. So
I reading this story, I tend to agree with the director of information, and not because I don't want people to get vaccinated, but because of the fact that there are a number of different players within the National Assembly, aside from the legislators and the servants who work there, a number of people who come in to listen to sessions, public, general public, the press, some businesses that operate within the complex. So it will probably be quite tasking to say, "Oh, produce your vaccination card." What I think, which is what he said, that there are vaccination days within the premises on Tuesdays and Thursdays, is to encourage more and more Nigerians to take the vaccination. COVID is still here. It's probably going to be here for a while. Probably turn out to become like your regular flu.
Somebody said we'll soon have a Sanubua variant.
Like your regular flu, where you would get the medications to be able to tackle them, because based on what we hear about the Omicron virus, even though despite the fact you're vaccinated, you could still get it, but the level of illness is not as bad as it used to be. So they should try as much as possible to get more and more people vaccinated and ensure that the safety protocols within the complex are adhered to, because one of the things that was said in the report is that they've relaxed safety protocols. The machine that used to spray people have been removed, where you have sanitizers and all. They've reduced in number. So, well, I guess we're getting towards the stage of herd immunity in Nigeria if we haven't gotten there at this rate.
Let's take a detour back to power. This is Tayo here. It goes, God said, let there be light, but Nigeria power sector laughs. You don't know nothing, we replied. This is Yinka here, still on power. It goes, in short, we shall have people living in Banana Island in the studio. 50k watt of power wiped out in 1 week. Do you run a battery? Eh? Anyway, let's move on now. Still on power. This is from Vanguard newspaper. Korea to donate a $12.4 million for solar mini grids construction in Nigeria. Mr. Kim Young Shai, who is the ambassador of Korea to Nigeria, on Monday said that his country would provide $12.4 million dollars for the construction of solar mini grids in Nigeria. He said this in his address at the standalone in mini grid project presentation ceremony granted by the Korean government held in Abuja. Justin.
Yeah, one will be tempted to applaud this, Oh, once again, they're coming to build something for us since we can't do jack for ourselves, One is tempted to applaud, but sadly, that's not my response to this. But before I even share my opinion, let me read out something that some government official said. Also speaking, Senator Ita Enang, Senior Special Assistant. I don't know where we get these titles from. I don't know what the job is from. Senior Special Assistant.
He has more qualification than the other assistant.
Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President on Niger Delta commended the Korean government for the initiative, saying it is the right step in the right direction. Remember, for them to come and build solar mini grids in Nigeria. He advised that the project should be extended to other parts of the country, especially the Niger Delta region. To promote even development. For this demonstration, it is good to be in the Federal Capital Territory, but it will be better to extend it to other areas so that you will get wider buy-in to something being donated. I would suggest we go to areas like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Akwa Ibom, which have a lot of concentration, and Kano. In other words, Federal Character Territory. Be Federal Character Principle. Enang said. So this is the advice you are giving Mr. President Egbo, Senior Special wanting. Look, it's high time we stopped going out to the world cap in hand with a begging bowl. We need to stop it. The aid industry is not there to provide aid to you. It's simply a funnel. This money goes right back to where it's coming from. So they're going to do this project. Remember, this project is actually supported by the World Bank. Let me define supported for you. Funded by the World Bank, right? So who's going to execute? The Koreans have said, they are the partner. They are going to come and donate it to us. They will execute. Korean contractors, Korean jobs, Korean employment, GDP, GNP, all the economic alphabet salads we like to use, goes right back to the Korean government. How many Nigerians are going to be employed gainfully, not people that are going to be there splicing wires and carrying pipes? Gainfully employed in this project. I can guarantee you, zero. The aid industry is simply what it is. It's a drain pipe. It's a smoke screen to make us to continue to be begging bowl carriers on the world stage. That's what we went to do at WEF last time. That's what we always do. They're coming to build solar mini grids.
Justin is vexing this morning.
Justin is just anyway. But this is Francis from Go, and he's asking about the Q3 figures, and he goes, "Please, what is the solution to the deficit? Nothing anyone says seems to be acceptable to this government." That's from Francis there. This is Jerry. He goes, "Good morning, all. Any serious government should be able to solve electricity challenge. Why did you like Quarrelo? Nigeria government denying ISWAP money channel. What then is the truth about the government and ISWAP? What has been done? What has ever been done?" That's what he's trying to ask. Fabian is here. It says, "Hello again. We all need to work the talk regarding our COVID response. We can't continue to make excuses and give knee-jerk responses. At Wade, there is no herd immunity in relation to the COVID pandemic, but there will rather be more mutations and variants."
Sanobua variant.
This is Tyre. Goes, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Might appear on TEDx on how to manage power consumption since government don't know what they are doing. And that's from Tyre there. Yinka comes back with, this time around, it's Korea to donate a solar grid. Abi. The last time it was Siemens. Back in Germany, as at the time of typing this message, nothing to show for it. Now, is it boring or dash? Who is building it? Koreans or Nigerians? Because this smells like Korea about to generate business for Koreans. Remember our romance with the Chinese. Chinese borrow you money and contract executed by Chinese companies, and the money circles back to China. And that's from Yinka. This one last here is from Sheriff Jimon. It goes, good morning, Smooth FM. Asia has come to our rescue once again. It's unfortunate that we can't do anything as a nation without running for help. It's worrisome. And that brings us to the very end of the show. Thank you, Wade and Justin, so much as always. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to everyone who sent in their WhatsApp messages. Stick around. Coming up at 8:30 is going to be a very, very special right here inside of Lagos Talks 981. We're going to have a special guest join us. He's a child psychologist, and we'll be talking about the culture of bullying. Stay with us.
The headlines, the stories, the news.